Hello again. Right, what have we been doing? I've managed to sort out the front of the foot plate, and that's all soldered up, and the frame extensions are in. I worked out how it fitted on the boiler. I've soldered up the boiler, and that's going to be fine. That's absolutely spot on in position. I'll come back in there for now. Fitted the brakes on the chassis, made up the cylinders, soldered the slide bars, which you have to laminate together, and then fettled the crossheads. One was okay, one was dire. I should have really sent it back, and it broke actually, and I had to drill it out and put a piece of 1mm wire out in it to make the rod. Anyway, it's working now, so, and that just fits in the frame, hopefully. I haven't tried it actually. Oh yeah, that's alright. Like that. And a slight angle in it, which I think it should have. I've checked that. But what I'm going to do now is make up the motor and gearbox, which arrived today. High level little Machima motor, looks 10mm, looks a bit insubstantial, but apparently they're more powerful. The 10s are more powerful than the 12s, so we'll see. It's the only pain with these gearboxes, you've got to actually make them up, and the it's a Roadrunner Plus, so there's yes, is it a 2 double reduction, I think they call it. You get a piece of steel rod which is extremely hard, and you have to cut the 2 axles, whatever you call it, from the rod. I use which a shame I had to do it. I didn't really want to use power tools for this low coat, but I don't really think there's an alternative. I suppose you could try sawing it, but I think it'd take a month of Sundays. And just one thing I've found looks fairly innocuous, but I always wear glasses. I've had them just when you get nearly cut through, the small bit has a tendency to fly off in all directions, and it's usually red hot, so it's best, I think, just to use a bit of protection. So, well, I've got a nice new bit on the soldering iron. In here is a little grub screw, so I'm going to fish the bits out as I go, or else it will get lost. There's a little fret. I think the gears, well, I know the gears and the worm and all that sort of thing are identical to the ones that DGH use in their gearboxes, and the thing with their boxes is, of course, they're pre-assembled, but you're paying a good £15 more for the box. So if you don't mind making it up, and these are perfectly fine, you're better off, I think, saving the money. Now, I used to use DGH boxes. I'd probably still win in the future, but because of their convenience. But when money's tight, money's tight. So, grub screws in there. I'll put that back in there for now. I've got to check everything fits in these holes. If they just want to be a nice tight fit, or you know, free fit, but no slot if necessary, you just ream them out until they all are. That one's okay. That one's okay. That one's okay. That one's okay. Bearings likewise. Best to solder them in first, I think, and they'll be a tight fit, so we've got to ream them out and find a reamer, tape a reamer. Just ream out the hole, so that goes in. Quite a bit off. fell off a stool earlier and I think I've cracked a rib, so if I start to yell, it's not because I've done anything here. It's because my chest is so sore. Yeah, that's gone in nice and tight. Let's try the other bearing. Well undersized, these holes, well undersized. Oh! Have I caught it? Have I caught it? Yeah. That was a miracle. There, that's gone in. Turn it over. Flux. Might have to tin the iron because it's new. Have I got any solder out? Have I got any solder out? No. I never find these solder bits last very long. I don't know why. Maybe it's something I do wrong. I try and keep everything clean, but they don't seem to last very long for me. Okay, so we just solder that in, like so. I've got a bit of filing to do next because they're far too long, these bearings, and there's no way it's going to fit between the frames unless we take something off them. That's it. I'm going to just take these down a bit. Quite a lot, in fact. So we can always washer it out if we need to. If we find it won't, you don't want any slopping, you know, you don't want it moving along the axle really. There's bound to be a burr, we'll just take the burr off like that, and we'll just test an axle, make sure it goes in. Nope. Right, I get enough of the burr. Again, it's very important that you know, there's any bearings that on the axle that's gone in, is that free though? There's no actual slop because that alters the mesh and you know, you never get it running nicely. That applies to the chassis, that one's fine just as well. So, straightforward, so we can just chop these out, chop the fret up. If I can, no, one cut this time. Scissors are wearing out. Those bits are if you, well, I've never had to use them, if it's something called remote, I don't know quite what that means, but the motor's remote from the gearbox. I guess that's really only, I don't know, diesels is it, or I don't know why you want to do that. So take that, the nib there, and we just make the 90-degree bends. There's 4 to do. 1, 2, make sure it's square. Eye's good enough, I think. I find it is. 3. cusp there or whatever to take off. Four. I suppose if you wanted, you could seam those, put some solder in those seams, but I haven't needed to ever. That looks, well, I'm rushing just so it doesn't get so too boring. Right, the worm, there's our little motor. So watch we don't lose the screws. Two screws. It's a little 10, I say, I'm told they're more powerful than the 12mm ones, so I'll just see where. Alright, so that needs to go at the end, it's fine. If necessary, sometimes they fit, and sometimes you have to just ream these worms out a bit. Just depends, I find. So we've got some, well, it's not Loctite, but it's the same thing from some Halfords, a similar make, well, not different make obviously, but it won't come out. Because it's blocked. So I'll do a Loctite. I don't want to get any of that, you know, anywhere near the motor, so I'll slip the worm on, a little bit of Loctite on the end of the shaft, and just pull the worm forward to where we want it, like that, and that's set. Alright, this is a spacer, we've just got to check that, again, our shafts go through it. And no, they don't.